Hey game designers, in this video we're going to go ahead and teach you guys how to import the Bitmoji and do this assignment right here. Now the Bitmoji we're creating is going to do multiple things. It's going to be used in this assignment, it's going to be used in this assignment, and it's going to be used in this assignment. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start everything inside of Illustrator. So we're going to open up Adobe Illustrator. Make sure you have your file ready to download. So I'm going to go import. I'm going to go ahead and open up Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to click on New. And I'm going to be using the, go ahead and continue with known issue. I'm going to go to new file here. I'm going to go web 1000 by 8 by 1000 by 8 using RGB colors. Okay, I'm going to go to file, place. And again, you should have your Bitmoji ready. I'm going to go search in here. And there is bitmoji.png. And I can find it. It is right there. Okay, I'm gonna click place and make sure that you link the file, click place. Now you can see right here, I'm gonna just toss it in the middle here. As soon as I pop it in the middle, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the corner. You can see here, this is not a uniform scaling. You're gonna hold shift to uniform scale. So I'm gonna uniform scale it, make it nice and large. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of stick it down here. And I can use the center tool to kind of center it right here. Now, what I also like to do is keep kind of an original because we're going to end up image tracing this one. So I'm going to do another place in the exact same file. Again, you should already have it downloaded. Go find that Bitmoji file. Where is it? There it is. Click OK. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a corner. I'm going to shrink it down. So again, holding shift to keep it uniform. And now we're going to go ahead and image trace this one. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my layers window here. So this should be my layers window. And I'm going to go ahead and enlarge it or drag it out and snap this thing. I'm going to snap it right here. So I have all my layers here. Okay. And you can see here, now I'm going to go ahead and enlarge my icons just a little bit so it's easy for you guys to see. Okay, so I have this one right here. This is my reference. This is the one I'm actually going to link. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this one. This is going to be my reference. You can lock it. Okay, and this one is going to be my image trace. And I'm going to leave it there. But as long as this one's locked, I'm not going to be mess with this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. We're going to go image trace. So tracing the image will turn this whole flat image into multiple vectors. I'm going to go to Windows. We're going to go to image trace. Okay, and we're going to click on preview to preview what kind of tracing we're doing. Right now we're in black and white mode. So if you ever want to do a black and white one, you can do that. I'm going to go to color here. And I think we decided in class that 30 was about the best one that we can have. So I'm going to keep it at 30. So using color limited 30, I'm going to uncheck preview and I'm going to end up tracing. Once the image is traced, you'll see here that it says image tracing. This basically has served its purpose. I'm going to close that window. And I'm going to go take this image trace and I'm going to go to edit or object. And I'm going to expand it. So once you expand all the objects in its fill color, you'll see the hundreds of vectors, shapes that are created in order to create this object. You can see all these down here. So I'm going to click on group. And I'm going to go ahead and group them. So I'm going to go here, ungroup them, go to group, ungroup. Okay, I'm going to select this group here, object, ungroup. So now I have all my objects in one big layer minus my reference. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to modify this. So I'm going to get rid of stuff that I don't need. For example, most of the white I don't need. I'm going to click on, you can do Control-Shift-A to unselect under here. I think it's, Control-A to unselect. So I'm going to click on the white one. And using this tool right here called Select Similar Objects, I'm going to hit the drop-down menu. I'm going to select all things that have the same fill color. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this button now. And it will select all things that are white. Now you can kind of look down here and see all the different things that are white. You can see a couple. I had a couple right there. Several here. So basically, there's all this white stuff. And I'm going to hit delete. Okay. Now to make sure I delete all the white stuff that I want to delete, I'm going to go ahead and create a rectangle. Left click and drag over my entire canvas. I'm gonna make it green color because I don't think I have any other green here. And I can right click on that layer using the select tool, just right click and arrange it to the back. So now I can see a little bit easier about stuff I need to get rid of. And I'm going to also lock that one. So that one's in the back here. I'm going to lock it so I don't select it anymore. So I'm going to left click and drag all of this because I'm going to delete all the word hide because we're not going to need it. Right? And the first task we have at hand is to go in here and actually it looks like I have a couple other objects I can delete. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect, Control-Shift-A, deselects. I'm going to select this little thing here and select similar objects. And it seems to select a couple more stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and delete those as well. I'm just going to hit delete. Okay. And it deletes some of my glasses. It deletes some of that. I don't know if I want to delete that, but that's fine. I think I can delete it. Not a big deal. Because I'm going to end up making these white anyway. Actually, I'm going to Control-Z that. I'm going to actually want to keep some of that white so I can work with later. But there are some little specks here. And again, no big deal. And I'm going to click those, delete those, delete those, delete those, delete those. Okay, so those are some of those white stray ones. You can see here I have another one right there, another one right there, another one right there, a couple of them right here. And I'm hoping that these are, right, click on that one, delete that one right there, and delete this one right here. So again, this is not a asset that we're going to do like really fine detail on, like if we did with it, we'd have used Pathfinder and basically merge all these objects. But we are just going to be interested in only a couple things. We want to have the ability to move our eyes, our eyeball, our eyebrows, and our hand. Not even our hand. Actually, we just want to redraw our hand and make it look more natural like it is down here. So let's go ahead and let's work on the first part, is to modify the body with our hand downward instead of upward like this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and left click a whole bunch of stuff that I don't need. Like this one right here, and delete the hand. Right, I don't need any of that. Oh, you see here, I deleted accidentally the entire black outline. So what we want actually going to do first is we're going to work on just the black outline. I'm not going to work about the colors yet, but if you double click on the left black outline, you're going to go into the isolated version of the compound path. So you see isolation mode here, compound path. And what we're going to do is we're going to use, again, this is like a blob, right? This is made of a compound path. It's basically a blob. And what we're going to do is we're going to edit the blob so that our arm is downward. Okay, so we're going to basically clean this up. So we're going to use the eraser tool, and we're going to go ahead and hit the plus sign to increase our brush size. Right, and I'm going to delete basically the hand. And again, I'm not deleting anything that's not black here. I'm only deleting the black layer. So I'm going to get rid of that and delete all of that. I'm going to lower the size of my tool using my brackets. Delete that and delete that and delete that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. Now you can go ahead and put in some fine touches, but what we're going to do is we're just going to use the brush tool. And we're going to hit the bracket sign, and we're going to kind of redraw our arm, right? So if my arm kind of came downward. So I'm just going to go ahead and blob and try to keep the same stroke width here and just kind of draw it downward like that. Nothing fancy here. And now you can see there's some imperfections here, so I can go ahead and take my eraser tool and go back to this one right here. And I think I used the wrong tool. I think I used the brush tool, guys. See that? I made a mistake right there. I used the brush tool. So I'm going to Control-Z. I'm going to go back and use the blob tool, because the blob tool is going to connect the stroke that I created with the paths that I already have. So now it looks like I am drawing on the blob. And you can see how it reconnects. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my eraser now and try to clean up some stuff right there. Clean some stuff up right there. And you can also use the smooth tool. So I hotkeyed mine to S. If you guys don't have it, it's in here underneath the shape tool. So I'm going to use the smooth tool. And the smooth tool will help our image look a little bit better, right? A little bit sharper, get rid of all these extra knots that are unnecessary. And that will smoothen out our thing. Okay, so I'm going to smoothen out that. Okay, smoothen out that. Smoothen out that. Okay, and smoothen out, whatever if you don't want to go crazy here, but because we're not going to end up moving this asset anyway. Okay, so that seems to be good. And now I'm going to erase basically all this stuff that I don't need over here. Okay, so this is my compound path, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to go back to my main layer here. And I'm going to use my select tool. I'm going to kind of delete everything I don't need. I don't need any of this. Delete. I don't need any of this. Delete any of this. delete, right? And now I don't even need that. And the black stroke, by the way, this black stroke that I'm clicking on is going to be moved to the front because you want to be the stroke of everything, right? So I'm going to bring it to the very front. So everything else should be behind it. And I'm coming here now, and I don't need this. And I just basically want to repaint this stuff down here. So you can get fancy if you really want to keep the texture of your shirt or not. I don't care. I'm just going to blob all of it in. So I'm going to just select, I don't know, like this blob or something. I'm just going to make the entire arm this color. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and double click. Okay, and I just want to continue this blob all the way down. So I'm just going to hit the blob tool, B for blob. I'm going to enlarge it, and I'm going to go ahead and paint. And now again, because the black stroke's on the front, I don't need to paint very exact here. I just need to make sure that that I paint, all the green parts. And the black stroke will be on top. And I'm going to go ahead and paint up to my collar too. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and exit. And I'm going to move that long, big shape that I just created, this whole big shape. I'm just going to arrange it and put it in front because, again, I don't care about all these other textures that I have. Okay. Now, as long as this one right here, you can see right here, this black piece is not attached to the original stroke. This one also needs to be arranged and brought to front. Okay, and there it is. So there's my arm, all done. Okay, just make sure that it doesn't cut off. So again, you can go in there and, recolor your jacket and all that, but I don't care about that part. That's up to you to do. Okay, now if you want to come in here and do a little bit more fine stroking, because you can see here that this one is now, this one needs to be brought back into the front. So I think I need to rearrange it, bring it to the very front. Okay, and actually you can use the plus sign too. Like you can see here under arrange, you can bring it using control brackets back and forth to kind of bring it one step further up, one step further down. But this is good, right? I got my black stroke on top of my shirt and my arm, so I fixed my arm. So that is part one. Now, the next part, it's going to be a little bit confusing, but I'm going to try to explain the best that I can with the time that we have. Okay, we need to first make our skin color one big skin color. And you can see here that it's not. It's made up of multiple little objects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on one skin color. And I'm going to use the Select Similar Objects button to select all things that have the same fill color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click and group them all together. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and look for that group. You can see right here, here's that big group, right? And I'm going to put this group into isolation mode. I'm going to click here and go into isolation mode. And you'll see now that this group is made up of a whole bunch of, different little shapes here, okay, all together. And what I want to do is I just want to connect them all by blobbing them together. And that's what I hope to see if that actually works. I'm going to go ahead and click on the entire group. I'm going to click on the blob tool. And again, the blob tool, and I got the color selected. I'm going to enlarge here, and I'm just going to cover and see if it slowly turns into one shape, and it does, right? You can see here that it's kind of acting as a pathfinder, right? I'm going to make it even larger here because I need to be that accurate. And basically, it's going to combine all those little objects and just turn it into one solid base for our face. Okay, and I can even do it for the neck because we're not going to really move the neck, so I'm going to merge it too over here. Okay, and I don't know where all the other little small objects are, or if they're different colors or whatnot, but this serves as pretty much the base of what we are doing. Okay, and I don't know what else the rest of this stuff is good for. Let's take a look at some of these. So some of these are like inside here, but they never got merged. I don't know why they should got merged, but or maybe because we're just coloring right over them. But I don't need everything else. So I can literally delete the rest of these, right? So I'm going to hold Shift, click on all of them except this one. I think I'm just basically coloring over them. I'm going to hold Shift and Alt to deselect. Deselect. Yeah, hold Control to deselect. Or not. Let's see. Shift, deselect, deselect. So basically, I don't need any of these except this one. So I'm going to take this one. I'm actually going to pull it out of the group. And I'm going to delete everything else in the group. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. And all the rest of these, I'm just going to simply put it in the trash can. Okay, this is the only base I need. So I'm going to go ahead and go back. And I'm going to put this layer that I just created in the back. Because right now it's kind of covering up all the other layers. So I'm just going to go ahead and arrange and put it, send it to the back. Minus the green layer. So I want it in the back, but not that back. So I'm just going to drag it one level up. Okay, and there we go. So now we got one beautiful solid base color for our face. Okay, now for those of you who have glasses, I'm going to do a little bit more work. But for the rest of you guys don't have to worry about the glasses. But a few of us do need to worry about that. I don't know what this is. Let me close this. What is this doing? Oh, okay, that's my Bitmoji. Okay, so now that we have the face ready, and now we can kind of move our eyebrows and move our eyes and squint our eyes and do things like that, let's go ahead and work on our eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of choose the colors, because these are not circles. You can see here, this is not a circle, that this is not a circle, that this is not a circle, that this is not a circle. Our eyes are technically made up of two circles, and in our highlight, we can use another circle for. But everything else needs to be basically turned into circles. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to use a color picker, because I can use this as a reference, but what I want to do is just go ahead and use a color picker. So color picker is somewhere in here if I can find it. Color picker, where are you? Color picker, oh, there it is, the eyedropper tool right there. So obviously we don't need white, but I'm going to click on this color right here for my pupil, and I'm going to check my swatches. So once you have used your color picker and you click on it, right? I think I accidentally clicked on the inside of that. I don't want to deselect here, Control-Shift-A to deselect. So just picking the color, I'm going to go into my swatches and try to add it. So here are my swatches here. That's actually not my swatches, it's my color picker. Where's my swatches? Where is my swatches? I don't see my swatches. Okay, so I don't see my swatches, so I'm going to go to Window, Swatches. And there are my swatches right there. And let's make sure that we add these colors to our tools. So I'm going to go ahead and snap it right here. Okay, so I have actually I like to snap it on the top. I kind of like it at the very top. Okay, so under swatches, I kept the eye color. And once you have the eye color kind of selected, that you hit the little plus sign. It's going to save this color. I'm going to call it eye color. Okay, I'm going to click on this black. I'm sure it's black, but I'm just going to click on it anyway. That's going to be my pupil, and it's black color. So I confirm that it's black. And I'm going to go ahead and start recreating my eyes basically from scratch. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and before I do that, I'm going to hold Shift and kind of put this all into one group. So I'm going to zoom in here, hold Shift, click on that, click on that, click on that. And I'm going to use right-click, group. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of find that group and kind of isolate onto that group. So there's that group. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go ahead and isolate on there. And I'm basically just going to recreate my own version of this, except they're going to be actual circles. So I'm going to start with my circle tool. Start in the center here. Left-click, drag. It's going to be black color, because that's the color I last chose. And I'm going to use my Shift tool. So Alt lets you center it. Shift lets you make it a perfect circle. And that's going to be the size of my pupil. And now I can actually, without even creating the brown part, I can actually just go in here, and without creating an extra circle, I can go into the stroke color, click on this, and choose my eye color, which I have here, and increase the weight. Okay, and now I'm going to see it's going inside and outside. If you actually left-click on stroke, you can change that so that it only goes to the outside. And now my stroke is going to the outside. So I'm going to make it exactly the same size as that eye, and that's it. So there is my ellipse for that. I'm going to go ahead and turn off this real quick, and I'm going to make my highlights. My highlights is kind of up here. So I'm going to click on this. Again, the ellipse tool. I'm going to choose the color. And now I'm going to go to white color and no fill, or no stroke, excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and start right here. Hold Shift and Alt. There we go. That's going to be my highlights. And again, I like to rename and organize here. So this is going to be my pupil and iris. This is going to be my highlight. And now that I actually have what I want and the other stuff I don't need, I'm going to go ahead and delete the other four. I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to go ahead and I think I have to click on the layer to actually delete it. And there I deleted it. So this group now is going to be my right eye. It's going to be my right eye, right? And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and left click, come out. Okay, you can see that it doesn't look quite right yet because we haven't masked, but we're going to mask that later. I'm going to go ahead and take my right eye group here, left click, and click on this group here, and go into right eye. I'm actually going to duplicate it now. So I'm going to hold left click, hold Alt, and I'm hoping I'm doing the entire group here. Left click, hold Alt, and let's see if I can drag another one. So holding Alt creates a new one. I'm going to center it right there. Okay, and there's my copy. I'm going to call this one left eye. And now I have two of them. So again, exit out isolation mode. And just like the other one, I'm going to click on this group and see if I can click on it. Kind of figure out where it is. This one's a group, right? So I'm going to click on arrange. I can bring it to the front here. There's my left eye. Brought it to the front. I'm going to go ahead and hide it and basically delete all the other stuff I don't need. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need any of the white parts either. I'm actually going to delete the white part now too. I don't need the black stroke, so we'll leave that. I'm going to delete that, and delete that. And likewise, I'm going to come here and delete the white parts too, because I don't need that as well. And this eye right here, I can right-click, arrange. Anytime you want to find something and it's hard to find in this long list, just bring it to front, okay, and then collapse it, okay, and then you can hide it and see if there's any other junk out here. I have a little bit of junk right there, a little junk right there, a little junk right there, okay. So now that I have my right and left eye, all I really need is the stroke on the inside for the white layer and the stroke on the outside for the black layer. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here and teach you guys how to do that. But before I do that, I just want to smoothen out the eye a little bit here. So I'm going to click on this, double left click, and it looks like there's a couple of great stuff too that I can delete. But I'm just going to use the smooth tool right now, okay, and click on this compound path, and using the smooth tool, kind of smoothing it out. There. I can left click back on here to see all these strokes. Do one out there. Do one to the outside. I can fix my glasses if I want. Now, my eye actually is attached to my glasses. So I'm actually going to do myself a favor right now. And those of you who have glasses, you want to detach these two objects. So I'm going to use my eraser tool and just make it nice and small. And just kind of cut it off like that. Okay, so now there's two, one for my eye and one for the rest of my body. I'm going to kind of zoom in here. Zoom in. That's two zoomed in. Okay, so I'm going to go here. And if I'm happy with this, I'm done, but I'm not quite happy. So I'm going to just do a little bit more smoothing here on the eye part. Smoothing this a little bit more. Okay, you can always blob in tools. So like if you want to go back and blob it, like, this looks too sharp in the corner here. Kind of cover it up there. Right, and then you can go back to smoothing. You can also delete knots, smoothen, whatever you want. You can use the pen tool and delete the knots as well too. Okay, so there is my eye. I'm going to go ahead and rename this. It's going to be my right eye shape. Okay, I'm going to hold space, kind of pan over here. So I'm going to go find this eye, and I'm going to click on this. And you can see right here that my black pupil kind of attached to my eye. I'll double click here, and I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to use my eraser tool, increase it here, and go ahead and delete this. Okay, and it looks like this thing needs to be repaired. So I'm going to hit blob here and kind of fix first the holes that are in it, right? Kind of lower that right there. Okay, and now I just need to smoothen. So using my smoothing tool, just kind of go once, twice, go to the outside. Okay, now click on this, go back on the inside, smoothing it out. Okay, and there we go. And now we have a path that we can use for both eyes So I'm going to kind of exit out this exit mode here. And let's go ahead and bring these two to the front as well. So again, a quick way to find it over here is just right click and arrange and bring to front here. I'm going to rename this one left eye shape. So these are all the 4 things I'm working on. And sometimes you want to just go ahead and kind of make them invisible. As you can see, all the other junk that we just want to delete. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and left click on like all of this right here. And kind of lock some layers down that I'm already kind of happy where they are. So I'm going to kind of lock these so I don't select them. I'm going to lock this because I don't want to work with that. And the skin layer. So I'm going to click on this skin layer here. And I'm going to arrange and bring it to the front, but I'm going to bring it back a few times. So I'm going to do Control bracket to kind of bring it down. You can see here on my layer window that I'm bringing it down. Bring it down below the face here. Okay. And I guess I can just do that because as long as all the other stuff is covered up, I really don't care that they're sitting in the background somewhere. Actually, I need to bring a few down because it's below my hair. A lot of my hair here. So actually, I want to bring this back, don't I? But anyway, what I want to do is just lock it. Once I lock it, I'm going to go ahead and actually bring this kind of way to the back. Click on this, unlock it. I actually have to unlock it first. Right click and arrange and bring it to the back or closer to the back. Bring down to the bottom, bring it one level above my green one. I'm going to lock it. Okay, and now I should be able to just kind of select a whole bunch of stuff that I want to delete. So I'm going to use my left click here and just kind of delete anything that's stray. Right, delete any of that. I don't see anything there. Kind of delete all these stray marks here. Again, some of these things that I'm deleting aren't even visible because of how we layered everything. But some of them are. Okay, so there we go. That's kind of like my eyes. Let's go ahead and show you guys real quickly how to turn these on and how to mask them. Okay, so these are my 2 eyes. And again, the eye obviously is going to be on top. So the left eye will be on top of the left eye shape. The right eye will be on top of the right eye shape. Now we're going to show you guys how to take these 2 things right here and make it in the white, the inner layer and the outer layer. So I'm going to start with the right eye here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go into isolation mode so you guys can see a little bit better. So I'm talking about just this thing. This thing's called a compound path. We're going to go ahead and click on it. And we're going to go to Object, Compound Path, and Release. So now when you see me release it, I have the inside stroke and the outside stroke. The inside stroke, I'm going to make it white. So I'm going to go here, make it white. And the outside stroke, I'm going to leave it as black. I'm going to rename this. This is going to be my white background. Okay, so let's do it really specific. Right eye, white background. And this is going to be my right eye, black outline. Okay, so I can go ahead and go back. So now I kind of got that. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same thing here on the left. I'm going to go to the left eye, click on the layer itself, go into the triple bar, enter the isolation mode. I'm going to do the same thing. Left click here, make sure the layers, the object is selected. Go to Object, Compound Path, Release. Go to the top one, change the color to white. Go ahead and rename these. This will be my left eye, white background. Left eye, black outline. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click back. And now the only left thing to do is mask. So basically, this white layer right here is going to have to act as a background and a mask. But unfortunately, it can't do both at the same time, not inside Illustrator. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this. We're going to hold Alt, and I'm going to drag one that is above it. So again, I hold Alt, so you can see that I have a top one and a back one. So here's one behind it. Here's one that's in front of it. So you can see here if I turn off this and turn off this, right? There's one that's going on front and one that's going behind. Okay, so the one in front is not actually, I'm going to rename this. It's going to be not a right eye background. It's going to be the right eye mask. So I'm going to mask my eyeball. Okay, and likewise, I'm going to take the left one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold Alt, left click, drag it one above it. And this one's going to be the left eye mask. Okay, and now we're going to mask the eyeball to the eye mask. So I'm going to kind of click on both of these like that. Hold, select this, hold Shift like this. I locked it, so I can't shift it. Now we'll go ahead and select it, right click, create a clipping mask. And now inside this clipping group, you can click on just the left eye and you can move it, this entire group, inside of your eyeball. Okay? And likewise, I'm gonna do the same thing here. I got the mask in the right eye. I'm gonna click on these two. Okay, make sure you Control Shift A if you want to deselect. Hold, unlock this. Click this. Hold Shift, select this. Right click, make clipping mask. And now, again, inside the clipping group, there's the mask that you really don't see anymore, and the eyeball, which if I click on just the eyeball by left clicking on this little bubble here, I can move the left eyeball. And that basically completes the first assignment. Actually, let's go ahead and quickly do the eyebrows. So for me, because my eyebrows got cut off by my glasses, I'm going to recolor that. So I'm just going to use my blob tool here and hopefully be able to kind of continue the path. Something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and use my select tool or V, select that one, go back to my blob tool. I have glasses, so again, I need to do this extra work here. Okay, like pretend my eyebrows are there. And again, I can use some smooth tool if I want to just smooth it out a little bit. Kind of got too many knots there. Too many knots there. Hit V, select this one. Go back to my smoothing tool. Kind of smoothing the inside. Smoothing the outside. Okay, there we go. So now I am truly done, I believe. And now it's time to go ahead and create the image that I asked you, screenshots that I asked you. So I basically asked you for 2 screenshots. I want you to show me that they're actually masked. So I'm going to start with this screenshot. So all you're going to do is take a screenshot, Control or Windows, Function, print screen. Okay, that'll take one screenshot. Okay, and I can deselect, so I don't select that. So I'm going to do it again. Function, Windows, print screen. That'll give you one screenshot. And now you're going to click on just the eye group, okay, not the mask itself. Because if you move the whole mask, you see what happened here. I will move the mask and the eye. I don't want to do that, right? I want to move just the eyeball. I'll click on just the right eye. And I want to do a cross eye face, just to prove to Mr. Wynn that I know how to mask. So I got that one in there. Click on this eyeball, move it over here. And now you can see me doing a funny face, okay? And then I can move my eyebrows or something. I don't know, whatever. I had to clean up some of those empty objects. But yes, I can move this up there and whatnot. Okay, so there we go. Give me another screenshot, Windows print screen. And that concludes the first video on how to edit the Bitmoji to create the cross-eyed look with the proper backgrounds and whatnot. And again, this assets, all the work that we did is going to pay off in the long run. That's in this video. And I'll see you guys next video.